This is today's live on Equa Television International. And we're so glad that you could join us on today's edition of the program. Today is Tuesday, and we're looking at life. A lot of things have been happening over the years, over the weeks, and most recently is the issues revolving around child trafficking. And this is going to form our discussion on today's edition. My name is Joyce Jakada. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. Do well to join the conversation. I have Sambo Solomon Sabe, Jamima Emmanuel, and Prudence Buka. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So we're talking about a global issue. I mean, it's not just an issue, but one that needs like global attention and needs governments, non-governmental organizations, communities, families, individuals to raise their voice against this particular act. Like, I mean, before now we watch movies, we hear stories, but now this thing is just right before us. Just recently, it was reported that a woman came back and saw a girl that was sent to her for house chores, like house girl, was watching the television alongside her children, and she beat this girl to death. And I just kept imagining, like, where are her parents? In most cases, some of these children are even underage, but they are being taken away from their parents, they are being taken away from their families, their communities, and they are being sent to a different location for the purpose of either hard labor or even sexual exploitation or for different reasons. So these children are being trafficked, they are being exploited, and at the end of the day, they are left devastated, they are left traumatized, and the impact does not just revolve around the individuals or the family, but at the end of the day, you find out that even the nation is being impacted and even affected negatively. So I would like us to just give our perspective to this issue, child trafficking, talking about a child that is being taken and then sold or exploited, like for hard labor, sexual reason, or maybe other reasons.
Issue of child trafficking, it's a global menace, and then you can say is another form of slavery, if you permit me. And then the whole thing is not a regional thing, it's not a Nigeria thing, it's a global thing. But you see, it can only take a responsible nation, a responsible community to be able to fight that particular menace. I remember during the time of Abacha, Mariam Abacha, she was the one that introduced that what's their name? Jesus. The child trafficking. I'm trying to remember the name. The point that I'm trying to make is that because she saw a problem and she feel a responsible government should act. And then she started the campaign that why can't we have an agency? And then she started pushing. That's when, it got to even the National Assembly that they have to debate about it. That came about the establishment of that particular agency that is fighting child trafficking. Why am I saying that? It's because already she saw how that thing is eating deep and is becoming a serious issue in the community, and she feel just individual cannot fight it except the government is involved. I see it as evil because you can imagine people forming a cartel that you can just take innocent children and then put them in such danger. Some people, they even travel abroad with them. Not just taking them to a neighboring state. Take them abroad And some of them, once they are gone forever. And what are the strategies that they use in the issue of trying to help your child? You have 7 or you have 5. Give me 2. Let me take care of her, or let me take care of him, or I will see how I will reduce the burden on you. What are they trying to say? They are trying to tell you that poverty have eaten us so deeply that even parents can compromise to give their children in the name of somebody want to help them. But not knowing that in that help, there's evil embedded in it, because they can't tell you this is what they want to do. They will take your child, an innocent child. Is either hard labor, the child is working, and then the person is collecting the money. That one is even better if the child is going through hard labor and then
education.
Like, you understand? But in the case of ladies, they expose them to sexual whatever at early age, and then in the name of prostitution. So at the end of the day, you see a child at the age of 10, being introduced to that kind of life, and then you imagine the child at the age of 20, 25. That's what is in the head of that child. It is really, really an evil that people are just trying to make it look as if it's nothing. I feel it is very, very important that parents should know that if you know you cannot take care of children, don't even give birth to them. It is very important, because it starts from there. The all concept comes from, okay, let me help you. The country is hard. People are suffering. Just look at the one in Plateau, just for instance, I think last week. The
woman was nabbed. She went to, I think, Langtan South, and
yeah.
then picked 2 children, a boy and a girl, and sent them to Lagos Park here in Jos. She was about to waybill them to Lagos. Imagine, I used to think we just waybill goods, but and then the parents were not aware. She picked this boy and girl, brought them to Jos, and then it was alleged it was about to waybill them when the Ministry of the Commissioner of Women Affairs, and then alongside the security nabbed that particular woman. And this is just one out of many. We've had a lot of stories about children being packed from a particular village, a local government, in the name of, okay, we're going to send them to school, but unknown to the parent, they like you mentioned, they exploit their situation. And in most cases, when it is poverty or crisis-prone areas, or a community that are faced with conflicts that has resulted into poverty, a situation where they are helpless. So people take advantage. The traffickers take advantage of such situation. They come in the name of, okay, we are going to assist you in training these children, and then they pick them. A lot of parents give the children, okay, since I cannot send the child to school, and knowing the importance of education so that the child would not end up like me, why not allow this auntie? In most cases, even relations will say, okay, I'm going to take this child out, and then I'm going to train them in school. Like this young girl, some of these people that they take and say, oh, I'm going to put them in school, they end up going to become house girls. They sell them to other people for an amount of money, and then they turn out to be house girls. They don't even go to the school. They don't even have access to their parents, and these people are denied.
It's just really disheartening, the things that people do to small kids, helpless children, and you look at it, and sometimes we don't even bat an eye to things like this. We are not even sympathetic to people's situations. We're not. You just find that people will go ahead and do some things. Little one that the scripture says the heart of man is desperately wicked, because some people are really desperately wicked. And then I was looking at it in this way, right? Solomon mentioned something. He said that for the female, for the ladies, they are exposed to sexual, but it goes beyond them. In fact, I don't think any gender is spared when you talk about sexual exploitation from this kind of from these traffickers. I've had stories of someone who was taking from home that they want to aid him and help him, and they took him to this place, and he was a houseboy, and from houseboy he was the madam's plaything, and over time it became like
Joseph.
it became like a norm for him now. If he doesn't even do it, the trauma
Like
that
something is wrong.
exactly. So the trauma that built up in that boy. We've also heard of stories of for those from the other faiths in this country. I read some stories in the newspaper few years back, somewhere around Lagos. They sent their children to this, what do they call this, their school? Makarantan Allo. They sent their children to their schools, and the malam in the school was just exploiting these young boys sexually. That was his own, that was where he was getting his own money. So it was like a form of ritual for him. So these children were sent to come and learn, but it wasn't learning. He was using them for something else entirely. And a lot of them are sent from not okay, their parents were sent them to Lagos because that's a better place. If you learn from the school, you would do business and all that, and they will send money home. But they were sending money home to the parents, quite alright. But what they were doing was more than
what
the parents thought was going to be happening. So you can just imagine how wicked the world has turned, that people are just out there trying to capitalize on your inabilities and your incapabilities to do evil. Recently, barely a month ago, barely 3 weeks ago, I heard over the radio of how someone came posing as a pastor of a church, and he took a lot of these children, saying that he's taking them to a place where they would get a greener pasture. But honestly, he was just selling them, and he had already done that in like 2 or 3 other villages. And it's just disheartening, because they had to ask him. He was caught, and they were asking him, so you have children, don't you? He said yes. Did you sell your children? He said no. His children are safe, but he's selling other people's children to so you look at the issue of trafficking, is that the people that are into this, they have no sense of humanity. Humanity is lost to them. They feel on top of the world, that they keep thriving on selling children or exploiting children. And at the end of the day, you would find that people that are associated with them would go all out, would everything possible they would do so that they would prevent them from being caught. So you talked about how we have a lot of agencies to track all these things, but there are some that are up until today are not tracked, and they cannot be tracked. For instance, we've seen a lot of people sending their children. In the north, it's like something that is very prominent. They would say they're sending their children for Almajiri school and all that, and at the end of the day, you find that these children will go from house to house begging for alms. On the streets, they're begging for alms and all that, and at the end of the day, they bring back these alms, and the malam will give them what he wishes to give them from what they got. And if he has like over 20 children, and he has each of them coming back with 1,000 naira, let's say, list 1,000 naira, because they travel long miles, so 1,000 naira is not even, but at least if it comes back with 1,000 naira, these children are bringing him 20,000 naira in a day, and he'll give them something like 1,000 naira. All of you should go and share. And so you can imagine how much they do with these children. And these parents are sitting down at home and saying, oh, they are sending their children to something good,
Mm.
but that's not what is happening. So a lot of things happening, and this is not just peculiar. I keep using what I've seen and what I've read around us here, because this is first home. This is where we are really involved with. But all around the world, you find these issues bubbling up. You cannot say you're going to the American community and not find something like that. It is there. It is present. You would go to the Europe, same thing. You go to Asia, same thing. Australia, the same thing. Everybody's struggling with the issue of child trafficking. For some of these places, they have laws and they have people who are really biting hard on the issue of trafficking. But for the African community, it is quite hard to actually go an extra mile to bite down on it, because you find us saying things like it is family, and then you're sending your child and saying, or rather someone from the city decides to say, send me your child, let me help him. And this child goes there, and what they promised the child is not what the child is receiving. The child is being is in fact, I heard of this story, and it was heartbreaking, because she went to the village to pick this child. She told the parents that the child will go to school, and all that. She brought the child to the house. But what they wanted for that child was, because the woman could not give birth, they wanted the child to give birth on her behalf. Yes. So they brought this girl, a young girl of about 15, thereabout. They brought her into the house, and the husband goes in to sleep with and have sex with this girl. And the girl gets pregnant and gives birth to a child for them. Yes, and then after that, they would settle the girl to go and do whatever she wishes to do. And so you see how much people have taken the whole child trafficking thing. Who knows that this is exactly, because for the period of 9 months, she's not going back home. They keep telling you, oh no, if she goes back home, her school will be affected. If she goes back home, this will be affected. But this is what they're using this child for. So a lot of things are happening under some parents' noses, and they have no idea that this is what is going on with their child, because they think that this is a greener pasture for their child. So the issue of child trafficking is just really a heartbreaking thing.
True, child trafficking is an inhuman thing, because I don't know who would be in his right state of mind and do that. And in as much as everybody wants to hustle, everybody wants to make money, what kind of joy will you derive from doing an illegal thing? You're not thinking of the repercussion at the end of the day. You're not thinking of the consequence at the end of the day. And I don't think I have ever seen a well-educated parent, a well-educated child, someone that is not struggling financially, having his child being taken for this kind of things. You're always seeing these reoccurrences from people that are not educated, from people that are in abject poverty, from people that are barely seeing any means of survival. So you're practically a savior to them, bringing this kind of things. And you don't really say the truth when you go. If I come to you and I say, I want to take your child to another country because of this reason, like I tell you the real reason, you will not give me that child. So they always lie. They always tell you the things you want to hear. Of course, every parent will be happy to know that someone wants to school his child. Someone wants to make a better life for his child. So they lie to you to have their way. So I think if there can be so much of awareness to just everybody, child trafficking is actually not news, because this is something that we grew up hearing, and it's not something that can go within the twinkling of an eye. It will keep occurring. In fact, they are even looking for better means to do it than they have been doing before. So if there can be awareness like time and time again, especially in these places where they are struggling educationally, financially and all of that, social instability. You find people, because of a particular reason, they had to relocate and come back, and they don't see any life for themselves. They just go in to do that. You see people doing organ harvesting just because of money. You see people doing child marriage just because of money. You see people doing so many other things that do not even warrant a human being doing. Like Prudence said, you did not send your own child to do these things, but you're sending another person's child. It's even better if we say you don't have a child. We say, okay, you don't know what it means to have a child. That is why you're doing this to other people's children. But you have your own children, and you even know how to keep them safe. But other people's children should fall into this kind of doom. It's really heartbreaking and not.
Like you all said, like from all the stories, the examples, it's indeed inhuman. And my point is this: from what I derive from all of this, children are being trafficked. Like children are being sold out without even the consent or the awareness of the parent. I mean, for them, they just see a savior coming to help. I mean, think about a situation where they barely feed, and somebody's saying, I want to ease you off of this burden. I'm going to feed them, I'm going to school them, I'm going to train them, and when they are done, they will still come and be of help for you. Imagine, you can just picture a young boy that is being trafficked to another country, and he's helpless at that point, and he's being used for hard labor day in, day out, like morning and night. He does not have access to his parents, to his loved ones. He, like, the condition is usually, when you watch documentaries about trafficked children, I mean, it's so heartbreaking. The condition where they are is just a terrible one. So if we're tying all of this to poverty, and then maybe the traffickers now taking advantage of conflict situation or crisis, and then exploiting these parents. In most cases, it's more like a situation where they exchange the child for money. So what do parents need to do? Because government have a non-governmental organization as well. I've had NGOs come out to do documentaries to create awareness. Like I said, it's something we grew up hearing until today. It's just like they're finding better ways of doing this thing. And then it is the parent that carries, in some cases the parent give the children, it's with their consent. So, but they have no idea that this is what they are going to do. And that's why earlier on I said that some of the people that traffic these children are even relatives. That it is relatives that come and say, I have somebody so there, they are taking your child up. Even though some of the relatives too, they don't even know. They just feel, okay, they want to help somebody from my family. My sister is suffering with 6 children. Let me give 2. But unknown to them, these children are going to be exploited, maybe through hard labor or even sex. Imagine a child of 14 or 15 years being subjected to this kind of thing, like to sleep around or exposed to prostitution, different men coming to sleep with them. They don't have a choice of anything. They cannot do anything about it. And then somebody is sitting somewhere and is the one that is being paid, and from that money they send to their family members saying, your child is working, is doing well. And they don't know. The children cannot have access. They can't even go anywhere. If you don't do this, you will not eat. If you don't do this, we will kill you. And the girl is just lying down there, as young as she is, and then different men coming to sleep with her and paying the person that trafficked them. It's just it's a picture that you don't want to even see.
Honestly, yes.
What can parents do? Because they give the children, or in some cases it is their children that are the victims. So apart from looking at government, looking at security, like government tightening security, coming up with measures that would deal with all of this, like you mentioned, the one-time first lady, and like even
I think NAPTIP. Is it NAPTIP or the name of the agency?
There are a lot of agencies that have done a lot in order to stop this trafficking. But what role can the parent play? If poverty is a reason, we still have parents that are struggling to eat and are having 8-10 children. What can they do to avert this thing from happening?
I wouldn't say I understand, because I still can't wrap my head around the fact that in fact recently I was onboarding to my mom. I said, this woman, is there nothing she can do to stop giving birth? Come to think of it, her husband is retired how would she raise these children? How would she take these children through school? And they already have 4 kids.
Mm.
I was heartbroken on their behalf, because I'm picturing how this world is looking and how, but she still gives birth.
Four
And
is even small.
And it's just
It's not much. I was thinking you would say 9 or
Leave my
something.
hand.
I'm just looking at it. He's not. My point is that he doesn't have an
I
employment.
know one with 9, and she's
she's
always
still on
on the road telling you how they did not eat.
And so it's just
Some is
heartbreaking.
like it's yearly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the children are like this.
And if you talk to them about giving birth, the way they will get angry with you.
Yes,
I
sir.
the one that have been feeding them since.
It's just heartbreaking that I think it just all boils down to the fact that a lot of people are not enlightened about contraceptives and all that. There's a reason why there's contraceptives in this world. It's not for people to just use them anyhow because they don't want to get pregnant before marriage. No, that's not what it is. It is also to maintain, for you to be able to curtail how many kids you're able to you have at the end of the day, and how many kids you're able to provide for. And I know it's now becoming a norm, because people are now understanding that this is for their own good. Previously, religious and by God's mentality could not allow people to go ahead and use contraceptives, but I see that now people are beginning to accept it. And so it is important that you, in case some people don't understand what I mean by contraceptive, family planning, engage that
Medical practitioner.
You better be defining at before young ladies.
No speeders.
I don't even know why it's you that is talking about contraceptive.
See, I'm looking at Prudence. I'm looking at her like you will not stop. You will not stop this. Can you make your point?
No, I'm making my point. But you see, it is important that you're even informed before you even get into marriage, so that
I just feel
don't
if you
go
are
and
married
have that-
and you're helpless, go and see your doctor.
True. But
Yeah.
If the pregnancy
That's
is just
a-
coming,
that's a
just
wise
coming, and you
one.
don't know, just go and see your doctor and tell them to help you. You don't want to continue like that.
see, Joyce.
that's one
You
issue,
see-
right?
Okay.
Right. So that's one way to look at it. Really, very important. If you are informed about contraceptives, go ahead and use them. If you are not, it's really the option that you just gave is like the best. So if you know that at this level you cannot have, in fact, I see that now even in the hospitals, when you go to give birth, they're asking you, is that okay, or do you still want to have more? So they can help you.
Prudence is talking like a well experienced.
I'm informed.
I shall not come and pick from.
I read a lot and I listen a lot. I'm just bad. So it's just very important for parents to be informed, and it's also important for parents to know that you are responsible for your child. If you cannot take care of the child, it's better when I don't think that, this is my own opinion here I'm about to say. I think that no matter how hard and tough it is, sometimes it is really better to see your child, like to have your child closer to you, to understand what exactly is going on with the child. Sometimes sending the child so far away is not your best option. And I'm just specific, maybe because I came from a closely knit family, and that's why I picture it that way. But I think that it is quite important for you to be very close with your child. Stay close with your child. It's better than just sending the child where you have no idea how the child is going to fare and all that. For schools, situations is entirely different. When you know that from home this child is going to school, at least you know the direction where this child is. And should someone come to ask you for your child, it is very important to get very detailed information about where the child is going to. Some people don't even really know, so long as they just come and tell them that the child is going to go to school, definitely. But what kind of work is the child going to do? They'll probably not tell you. They'll just be telling you, 1 or 2 jobs. But you really need to be informed exactly what. In fact, from you asking all those questions, for people that are traffickers, some of them will get irritated and just leave you because you keep asking.
They will
those
not
lot
give
of
you the
questions.
details. There are details that they don't want to
Exactly.
give. For example, I want to go with you so that I can see where the child is staying.
Exactly.
They will never accept. So at that point, they will just rule you out.
Exactly.
But you know, I know that these things are 2 ways. I know of a child that his mom gave birth to him and his sister. They are just 2. Which of course you would not even want to think that anything will happen. The woman cannot take care of these 2 kids. But she's so into alcohol that her relatives saw that the future of these children are at stake with her. And then one of the brother took the son, and then her sister took the daughter. Today, the child, as I speak to you, the son is lecturing in one of the Nigerian universities. And the daughter is a trained chef. She's doing well. Until today, it's not like the mother has changed from that lifestyle. So you will not even ordinarily think that she cannot take care of the child and no relatives can just. But then you have to be intentional about who takes care of. There are situations that you know that you're really helpless and you cannot do anything about these children. Rather, when they stay with you because of who you have become, you choose to become, it might be detrimental to their future. So. But the thing is that why are you in a hurry to collect money, exchange your child for money? Like the story of the grandmother, not even a story. This is something that happened very close. This woman sent her daughter to go and get something in the market because the daughter gave birth at home. And she believed that in her culture it's a disgrace for her child to give birth. So she arranged with somebody that will come and buy the child. At 400,000, 250,000. So they're going to come and pick, the newborn baby, and then they will pick the child and go away with the child. So she didn't know how to do it. Then she sent her daughter to go to the market. And when the daughter went to the market, said, "Mommy, the baby is sleeping." No, she said, "No problem." And then that was when she arranged with the people to come and they carried the baby and left. The daughter came back and she was like, she went inside. She didn't see. She went to the mother's room. She didn't see her child. I said, "Mommy, where is my baby?" She said, "I don't understand which baby." She said, "What kind of joke is that one now? Where is my baby?" And then the mother kept saying, she does not know. She has been inside here. That's how the lady raised alarm and people came. Why would you say your daughter, you sent her and she left you with the, and you're saying you don't know, that she does not know? When she received beating, that's how she now confessed that before they nabbed these people, they're already out of this state. Another lady did the same thing just this December. She just came to a compound where a lot of people stay and they have children, and she rented a 1 room in that compound. Wow. So when she rented, she was staying there for about 3 months. She would go out, come buy biscuit, buy a lot of things for the children. So she became that favorite auntie that every child wants to be around. And then the parents were all comfortable with her. Hi, this young lady is very nice and all. And it was already, Christmas was approaching. And so she said, I really want to buy for these children shoes, but I don't know their sizes, and I wouldn't want to buy something that will not fit in. So I don't know if you don't mind. She was telling the parents she can go to the market with them and so that they can just wear. Everybody, auntie, no problem. She left and never came back. They waited, they didn't see her. They went to report to the police station. They tracked these people in Imo State from Plateau State. It was just this December. So these people come in different forms. It can be from your relatives. It can be from strangers. People easily trust. Parents need to be deliberate about their children. I mean, you need to be deliberate. The Bible says they are gifts. You are entrusted with them. But then you sell them. For some consciously, for some unconsciously. if you know you cannot take care of, you don't have the capacity. Like I said, for some people, when you talk to them, they get angry with you. What's your business? I'm giving. Did I complain? Have you ever bought these Pampers for me or what? Allow me to carry them and go to the street and be begging. If you will give us, give. If you will not give, just leave it. So they don't even want to hear anything. But I think parents should be intentional.
True.
Like if you think you are helpless, okay, it's not my fault. Every time I'm just too fertile. That's how women will say that, or the husbands will even tell their wives, if small touch, you are pregnant, And then if you think you're helpless, can you go to the hospital and seek for help? Rather than giving birth to children that you cannot take care of them, and then you start giving them out to people that, like, you are just infringing on the right of these children.
And you see, gone are the days where a man will marry so many wives and give birth to so many children. The singular reason was he needed people that would help in his farmland. But then it is different. We're in a different era right now. So why give birth to so many that you cannot take care of? It should be quality over quantity. If you can only give birth to 2 or 1 and you take very good care of them, so be it. But if you can afford to give birth to so many and take care of them, that is good. My dad will always make a joke. He said he doesn't understand how this life is. A man that can feed 150 children will give birth to 2. But the one that cannot feed 1 will give birth to 12. So he doesn't even understand how people do the whole ideology behind it.
For some, they will grow up, they will become somebody, and they will take care of them.
Before they become is where the drama is. So you should just give birth to what you can afford, so that at the end of the day, nobody will come.
God that gives children. No.
Nobody would. Yes, but you can plan for that. He gives children. Yes, but you can make plan adequate. Like contraceptive said.
My hand, no.
So you make adequate preparations for them. Then secondly, another way that parents can be well informed is you learn from other people's mistake. They said if somebody's beard is on fire, you put water on your own so that it doesn't even get to your own turn. When other people's children are being trafficked, taken to other people, you learn and take more measures to see how you can protect the ones that you have.
And now sometimes they don't even need to come to you. Now they steal the children.
Yes.
You're asking them plenty questions.
Exactly.
So because they know you ask them plenty questions, when you are not around, they'll come and steal the children. They will deceive them with, I want to buy this for you. And they will abscond with the child. This January alone, the number of missing people I've seen is terrible, and a lot of them, like most of them, are children. So can you be intentional about looking out for your children? The way some parents beat and send their children away from them, it amazes me. Go and play. There's somebody that is around monitoring how every day you're sending go and play, and because of how you treat your child, the child will be tempted to follow this uncle or this auntie that has been nice.
Yeah.
And then before you know, he's missing children, and maybe the child is being taken somewhere else, being trafficked, and then he's just engaged in one hard labor or introduced to some sexual affairs or all of that. So parents just need to be intentional. Know where your child is, know who you are leaving your child with. Recently I was telling one young lady that has like grandchildren, about 2 grandchildren. Then this uncle will come and say, I want to go and watch ball, so I'm going with this. So she felt, okay, I know him now. This person is like a friend. So he's just going to the stadium to watch football with these children. I say, be careful. If this person can look at you and tell you that I don't like how you are treating this one, I don't like how you are treating this, like trying to instigate the children even against themselves, then somebody like this can do anything. So I said, forget that you are friends. When this person is absconding, will abscond with the children and you will not even see no trace at all. So you need to be mindful of the people you open your doors to. You need to be mindful of how you treat your children, their whereabouts and all. I'm tired. These children have been disturbing me since morning. Go out and play. Next thing, it will be different stories. So intentionality is key.
I actually heard of someone who was asked, where are the children? Oh, I sent them out to go and play. I have no idea where they went to. You cannot have that attitude towards your child if you expect the child to grow and become something. Because evil out there is large. If this child is not meeting abusers, this child is meeting traffickers. If this child is not meeting traffickers, this child could get into an accident. There are a whole lot. In fact, some of them have become drug peddlers because of this kind of things. They are within the community, right? Yes, but Some people have already recruited them to become their drug peddlers, and you are sitting down at home and say, no, they are around, I know where they are. You don't have an idea exactly where they are. You just say, no, they went out with that uncle or that auntie. Be conscious of where your children are at all times. That is your safest bet in the age that we are, because evil is just increasing and not decreasing anymore. We talked about how child trafficking is something that we grew up hearing about, and we are now seeing it becoming more rampant. In fact, these days, people have gone far ahead to even go into not just child trafficking, but the other one, the senior level, the older people. This time around, you're thinking that, oh, this person is really aware of what he's doing or putting his hand into. But you would find that they're using chemicals, they're using some drugs and all that, and wiping these people's memory and brainwashing them and all that. So how easier would it be for a child to be trafficked? So it's really important that as a parent, you keep track of where your child is. Be aware of who your child is with, and to know who that person is. Don't just be familiar with people and then leave your hands wide open and your doors wide open for these people. I remember a time, I've said it a million times on this set, I'm a PK, and there are times that you have to welcome in people into your house as a pastor's in a pastorium. And so you're welcoming people that you don't really have full information about. I remember my mom always telling us, as much as these people are welcomed into this house because it is the house of God, I want to know when you are entering their room, what is taking you there? What are you going to do there? I want to know every single detail. In fact, if she finds that we went into the room before telling her that we went there, we are in for it. So this is how much this is within the house, but that's how conscious she is about where her children's whereabouts are, where we are. So as a parent, it is very important that you put that into consideration. You cannot be carefree about your child, about raising your child, because you are just making that child prone to all these vices.
Okay, Sambu Solomon, I have this question. In a situation where, because I know there are women out there or there are fathers out there, there are people that will be like, I have 8 children. I have them already. Will I throw them? Like, I already have them. But I know that looking at where I am, I can't train them. I can't feed them. What do you think a father or a mother in that situation can do rather than giving the children, like selling them out there?
Well, there's a lot. It's just that at this particular time, it's difficult. Why did I say it's difficult? Because the parents now are being choked with so many things. Like, if you talk of the economy of the country, that is, if they are in Nigeria, the economy is really, really tough. Even for those that ain't, like, they find it difficult. Talk more of people that they just wake up every morning and they are just hopeful that something will just happen. A manna will just fall from heaven. And then maybe the process from that time to now, that the person is having 5, 6, 8, 10 or thereabout children. So many things have transpired. Maybe the family may have had their own plans on how things will go about, and then possibly life just decide to hit them negatively. So they are traumatized. They don't even know where to start. You can still start somewhere. It's not easy. We just want to establish that we can feel what you're going through. You see, first, we have to understand that children are gifts. All these things that we are talking, some people don't even see it like that. They're gifts. You are just being given a responsibility, like to just say, Joyce, this cup please keep it for me. When it's time, I will collect it. What it means is that they just give you that child or those children as a gift for you to just guide them. That's only your responsibility as a parent. No more, no less. Because no father can tell me today.
So you don't have the right to sell them.
You don't.
You don't.
You don't. So it starts from there.
Because some people say, yeah, Ranani, they are my children. I can sell them.
If you can
You
sell
don't
them,
have
then
the
that
right.
means you can tell the future of your child. Because even Donald Trump today, his father has no single idea that one day his child will rule America. He doesn't have. So that means he has like no right upon that child. You are just to guide the child. And he guided the child the best that he can. And then you pick it up
That's
from
where the
there.
child
That is why they said from 18, life start. Anything you do once you are 18, you take full responsibility. It's from that time you can go to jail. In fact, at 18, if you do anything wrong that we say life imprisonment, be rest assured government will send you to that jail till you rot in there.
In fact,
You
from
understand?
17, some people do.
Do you get? But I'm saying official age,
Yeah.
whatever, for us here in Nigeria. I think it's 18, right? That's
Yes.
why the education, whatever, Minister of Education, they are saying that until you are 18, that's when they will allow you to go to university. It's because of some things that are happening now. Like they feel the children are not fully developed. And that is why even the lecturers and some dubious people take advantage of them while they are in high institution. So what am I trying to say? You have to understand that they are just a gift. You are to guide them. Not all children will go to school. If your challenge is sponsoring them, why can't you sponsor one or two? The rest, guide them. Find something and said, okay, can you learn a trade? Guide them. The one that you know how to do best. Involve some of them so that they will do it better. Maybe if you teach them. And the way the world is evolving, they can say, okay, my father was a cut and nail carpenter. But now I'm a furniture designer. Your child can be. He's just polishing his father's business and he's doing it better. So why can't we just train our children, give them something, give them skill? You understand? Engage them in something that you know you can monitor. If you want to engage them in any skill, let it not be far away from you. Be a place whereby time to time you can monitor what they are doing. And they come, you guide them. But until and unless parents understand that our responsibility is to guide these children to behave well in society, then we're missing it.
And I think partly is also laziness
Yeah.
on the part of the parent. Honestly, like I have to be direct. You have 8 children, and you are sitting down, folding your arms, sleeping and waking up and waiting for somebody to come and take care of your children for you. Like you are looking out for relatives, you're looking out for somebody that has worked so hard. In fact, yesterday on one of our program, the living room, the topic was gratitude. And then you are looking at your auntie or your uncle and you're abusing them that they are not helping you. One of the profs said that I think you should be angry with your father that chose to be irresponsible, not for you to be looking at an uncle or a relative that he's irresponsible by not helping you. So there are parents, there are people that just decided our own is to let's give birth. We have relations somewhere that we can send the child to. We have this person that is doing well. I think she's not married now, but she's working. She has a business and she's earning money. By the time we finish giving birth, we can send the child to that place. And that person is looking at it, oh, I'm not ready to take care of any child. The person will send the child to another person and then collect money. And you're there saying, somebody is taking care of my children. My child is in the city. There are a lot of things that you can do that you don't have to traffic. You don't have to sell your children. I've seen a woman that birthed 6 children go into selling of what we know as akara, kosei, bean cake. And she trained these children, 6 or 8 children. She trained them single-handedly as a widow. All of these children went to school and graduated While they go to school, they come back. The mother does this in the morning and in the evening. They assist her when they come back from school. And this is how she fed these children and even trained them. But some are looking at it like, I cannot do this kind of thing. Let me wait for this relative. Let me wait for that person. No, let me wait for these rich people in this society to come and help me, or that person to come and help me. That is why you end up falling victim of these people. But if you are skilled, if you have a source of income, like it becomes difficult for anybody to take advantage of you. It cuts that line of you being vulnerable. Why? Because somebody's coming to tell you that I want to train your child. But I can train my child. At least I'm earning and I can train my child. So it's not something that because I did not go to school, so my children will not go to school. They are parents that decided that because I did not get this quality of life, my children will get it. But there are parents that have vowed that my parent make this mistake, but I will not make it as a father or as a mother. The life that I did not get, my children will get it. And what do? It's not just about talk. They have vowed and they are putting in the work to ensure that they give their children the best. I've had some parents say, see, my father did not do this to me, and so they will not do it to their children too. There are some that will
high
say,
level of irresponsibility.
yes, and some will tell you that my parent did not do, but see, my children will never go through this. What is the difference between them?
See,
So it's just something that you as an individual, you need to be intentional about.
Sure.
If God has blessed you with these children, then it is your responsibility. You are to look up to cater for them. You cannot, laziness should not have anything to do around you. You should put in effort. God said, I will bless the works of your hand. Like Samuel Solomon said, if you can't afford school, you can afford them learning a skill. And then even if they don't go to school at the time that they are supposed to go to, we have government school, we have public school that you pay little or nothing. And then you keep saving, you keep working toward getting the better life for these children. I remember my mom saying growing up, she said, see, if it's just crayfish I will eat with my children, they will stay with me. They will stay. They will grow like that. I will not, because somebody is killing cow every day in his house, decide to send my child so that I can have a life of my own. No, I will not do that. I will walk, I will toil. I remember moments that this woman had to trek to her workplace. You need to know the kilometer where she works, and that she had to trek so that her children will be in the best school, they will have a better life. There are parents that will say, oh, instead I will go and prostitute. There are others that will say, see, you people cannot go to school because I cannot afford it. But a young woman that is just using her alawi as a young copper, paying school fees of 3 children in private school, you know what that means as at that time. So she chose not to wear clothes. She chose not to eat what every other person is eating, but to manage her life and to grow with her children. That parent needs to be intentional. Like, it's not a cause that you have 8 children. It's not. There are people that
in fact, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing. There are some that are looking for one. Like, there's nothing they did not do to get one, but they did not. It's not a situation where you should be angry with the children and looking for who will come and buy them. But it's for you to look at them as blessing and look at ways in which you can impact in their life positively, rather than subjecting them to trauma that cannot be erased. Imagine giving birth to a child, and at 12 years, somebody's already an adult, is already having sex with the child for somebody to be earning from. Or a child at 15 is being used for hard labor day and night, and you, the mother, you're sleeping, or the father, you're sleeping.
And I think
that's inhuman.
You even saying
some
15 is like old, because I've actually seen a 10-year-old, I've seen a 9-year-old doing hard labor in the north, in the core north.
Children.
It's just heartbreaking that you see a lot of things going on, and some of these things stems from negligence, and I don't know what to call this. You cannot, in the name of religion or anything, culture, you cannot neglect your child and say it is culture. Some people will tell you that it is culture for you to send your first child out there to hustle. Culture is not going to raise your child. You're the one raising your child. It is very important that we don't look at things that way. We cannot. I'm just really angry because of the things that I've seen people do to their children. It's heartbreaking.
You know, some parents use their children as collateral.
Yes.
It's very, very disheartening. And you see, some people see their children as accident. Yes. So these people, sometimes you can't blame them how they think and how they behave. Do you know that some parent even even create the peaceful atmosphere for what their children are going through, that me and you now are lamenting? We are finding it difficult to even talk about it. Yes, they make the ground so fertile for that to happen to their children, and some of them don't care, and you see, even to the elite, it does happen. Even to the elite, the ones that you are thinking they have gone to school, they can put one or two together, they can assimilate, at least they can go to a certain level to find out how certain things, whether they are true or not. You find that they fall victim because these guys are cartel, and their network is beyond what you are thinking.
Yes.
It's beyond what you are thinking. That's why it's difficult for you to trace them. Even if you trace them, you can only deal with the Yakubais, like the ordinary ones, the followers. Like you understand, because the big shot is it, because if you look at it, even this agency that we talk about that deal with this, they are trying, they are doing their best. You understand, because it's from them that I know that even the guys find their ways of cleaning their track. Because from this point that you're ticking, you're gutting them, then you now see a new strategy again. And then somehow it's like you are left lost. Where are you? You know, just for recent, I think some 4 years that they sold them, I think 200,000 or thereabout. Yes, that they caught here in Bauchi. I think they took the what will I call them? Those small they were to Bauchi, to government house. 3 of them. You know, 200. The parent sold them. What are they thinking?
It's just insane. It's unfortunate that time is actually fast.
You know.
It's
But
really
I think
insane.
the government should do something.
True.
The government should wake up,
And
and
people
then
should wake up.
parent, please, let's
Should
be
be more
deliberate, like
intentional.
what
Very,
you
very
said.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes intentionality to bring an end to this inhuman treatment. No child should be sold. No child deserves this exploitation. No child deserves it. And like we rightly established, children are gifts from God, and it's behold on us to take care of them and to look out for them. Do not be a trafficker. Don't be the one that will give your child, and don't be the one that will go and buy and take it somewhere else. Like, God will hold you accountable. You will not end well, if you engage in that kind of thing, because it's nothing. Just think about your own life. If that was the path that your parent took, or if somebody took advantage of you that way, I'm sure it's not something you really want to think. So let's join our hands together, our voices together, to fight against child trafficking. Every child deserves to live. Every child deserves to have a life and to live in the purpose that God has created for them. So let's try our best as parents, as community, as society, as a nation, to ensure that every child has that freedom to live his or her life, rather than being enslaved to one form of exploitation or the other. Thank you for doing this with us. It has been an emotional moment, but we are hopeful that things will change for the better. Let's be intentional about our families and our children. Thank you, Sambo Solomon. Thank you, Jemima. Thank you, Prudence,
Pleasure.
for doing this. And to Equa Executive, we are grateful for this platform. As our supporters, thank you for always supporting Equa Television. Thank you, Martha Isa, Hassan Danjuma. We're grateful. Thank you, Yila, Samuel, Jerry Damina, and Linda Philip. We're grateful. And to our editor, Victor Bendy, thank you, Moses Chobu. We are grateful. And everyone that played one role or the other, we are grateful. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, to talk about relationship and coping with heartbreak. Yeah, another great one. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.